Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is April 2nd, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see British Columbia, Washington, Oregon. Check out our frontal system with a very cold air mass back across the Gulf of Alaska here. And you can see we've got some lenticular action across the higher terrain. We're going to bring that much chillier air mass in here as we go through the next couple of days and really drop our temperatures off. So one more pretty warm day across much of Washington, Oregon, and Idaho before we really start drop those temperatures down. We're going to put this trough all the way down the west coast here in the next few days. Take a look at the visible. Just had to show it. You can see Mount Rainier right here. The very cold air aloft behind the frontal system and already pouring into the region. And if you look closely, you can see some of that lenticular cloud activity across the Washington Cascades and the British Columbia mountains there also. Looking at the warm temperatures today, look at the Tri-Cities 81, Walla Walla 76, Yakima 78. But enjoy it while it's here because we're going to drop about 15 to 20 degrees as we go through the day tomorrow and on in towards Thursday. This was issued today, April 2nd. Spokane National Weather Service is always on top of things. Pendleton, Oregon, also talking about some of the snowfall amounts. Looks like the Oregon mountains are going to beat out much of the rest of the area as well, again, with some of the snowfall amounts. So watch out for those winter driving conditions. Look at SeaTac yesterday, 61 degrees, 4 degrees above average. Very nice day out there. But look at 1987. No April Fools there, 82 degrees. And I can actually remember that day. I think I was in middle school, it was. And it was extremely warm. It was such a glorious day there. So yeah, in 1987, 82. But we are off to a little bit of an above average start here as we go on into the month of April. But we're going to cool these temperatures back down over the next few days as well. Looking at the day one thunderstorm outlook, you can kind of see this band here across eastern Oregon and southeast Washington, Idaho, Panhandle, some of Montana. And we're going to do something similar again tomorrow. And I would not be surprised to even see a little bit of a marginal risk brought in here for some gusty winds and maybe some hail because some of these storms could be strong. I'll show you what I mean here in a moment. And here's day three, introducing some thunderstorm threat to parts of southwestern Oregon here and same places the previous 2 days there across eastern portions of Oregon, Idaho, and Montana, and clipping southeast Washington. Now, taking a look at the lightning flash density potential on the European. So as we go through the day today, you can kind of see some of that thunderstorm activity showing up as we go through the afternoon and tonight, kind of pushing off maybe into tomorrow morning before that wraps up. Then we're going to do it again as we go through tomorrow afternoon, and then maybe one more day Thursday as it pushes off a little bit further to the south and east as this trough is going to be across much of the west coast of North America. And there's Friday afternoon, some of this activity pushing off across Idaho, Montana, and then California starts to get their rounds of thunderstorms returning. And if you want a nice affordable home weather station, speaking of lightning, this has a lightning detection system with it. It's all solar powered and wireless, great smartphone app. Click on the link down below to save 10%. Now, taking a look at the European, this is last night's run. This is that ridge that's bringing us our nice weather right now. And you can kind of see the chillier air back here and the tight gradient pushing that frontal system into British Columbia as we speak. And if I put this into motion as we go through this evening and tonight, tomorrow morning, you can clearly see that trough opening up across the west coast of North America here, ushering in this cooler air mass. And definite pattern change will be felt as we go towards the end of the week coming up here. Today being the last very warm day across many areas. Now, if we take a look at 700 millibars, 10,000 feet, you can clearly see the ridge there and the warmer temperatures a lot. But then look at this bowling ball just roll into the west coast here and really bring that pattern change, kind of targeting California especially, but definitely cooler temperatures for Oregon, Washington, British Columbia, Idaho, and Montana as well. Looking at the European 6-hour precipitation, let's see the timing on this. As we go through this afternoon, it starts to clip northwest Washington, southwest BC, and as we go through tonight, starting to get some rainfall, especially across the higher terrain, maybe some convergent zone activity as we go through tonight and into tomorrow morning showing up here right across some of the central Puget Sound. And we go through the day. Wednesday still showing a little bit of that signature here. Then you can see the showery activity and some of these could be prolific lightning producers here out across some of the eastern portions as we go through the day tomorrow. As I mentioned, more on that here in a moment, but you can see the trough just churning and spinning over much of the west coast as we head on in towards Friday. So going into Saturday here, and you can kind of see another little impulse moving in, and then we go on into Sunday, kind of keeping things a little bit damp here across the Pacific Northwest. Now, taking a look at composite reflectivity on the North American model, high resolution. This is what the Doppler radar may look like as we go through the day today. And what I want to highlight here is, of course, the frontal system that's trying to push down as we go through this afternoon and evening tonight. But there's also some thunderstorm potential for eastern Oregon. You see these popping up here as we go through the late evening and nighttime hours here. And those move off across northeast Oregon into southeast Washington as we go into the very early morning morning hours. You can't rule out a thunderstorm or two with that activity here. And then watch what happens as we go on into Wednesday. Look at these pop up here. Those have some pretty good parameters, some supercell composite parameters showing up here, some nice shear, some decent cape. You could get some severe gusty winds or maybe some severe hail associated. Wouldn't be surprised to even see a tornado or a thunderstorm tornado report with this, or a funnel cloud report, I should say, as this activity moves up and across the area. Yeah, so interesting weather, eyes on the sky for today and tomorrow, especially this evening and tomorrow afternoon as we go on in through eastern Oregon, on into Idaho, and potentially clipping southeast Washington. Now, looking at surface-based CAPE, this is convective available potential energy here. It's kind of a thunderstorm fuel, and you can see how we do destabilize as we go through the day today a bit, and then watch as we go on in through tomorrow. You can see, again, some pretty good CAPE action out there as we go on in through Wednesday afternoon, then maybe again Thursday as it pushes off a little bit further to the east across Idaho there. So yeah, interesting weather here coming for eastern Oregon, Idaho, and some of eastern Washington. We look at the supercell composite index, kind of a combination of instability and shear in the atmosphere. And as we go on into tomorrow, I kind of want to show this here, pop it up. You can kind of see some of these impressive numbers start to show up there. And that's why I think they might actually do a marginal for some severe risk with that. And then maybe again on Thursday, some stronger storms could pop up then also. Now, taking a look at maximum updraft helicity, is kind of a spinning in the lower levels of the atmosphere here. You can see 2,000 to 5,000 meters above the ground. And if I put this into motion, and especially pay attention to Wednesday coming up, you can kind of see some of these tracks here. So some of these storms could be producing some pretty strong winds and some hail with that as well, as I mentioned. Now, taking a look at the temperatures today, and again, very warm eastern Washington. Some places probably hitting 80. Look at the Willamette Valley getting into the 70s here. Seattle, nice warm day. Southwest BC getting in the warmth a little bit as well. So get out there and enjoy that today for sure, because watch what happens as we go to tomorrow. I mean, look at that shift. It's a huge drop in the temperatures. I mean, the Tri-Cities are looking at potentially 22, 23 degree drop in the 24-hour period here. Definitely much chillier air mass rolling in as we go on into tomorrow and Wednesday, and we try to start to bounce back here as we go towards the weekend a little bit here, but we'll work out those details as we get closer to it. You can kind of see next week maybe warming up again. We'll see how that goes. And look at total precipitation in inches. You'll notice that some places are getting kind of skunked here. I mean, look at Seattle only picking up less than 1/10 of an inch, or just right around 1/10 of an inch here on the National Blend of Models through 36 hours, even though we have the system coming across the area, but better amounts for the higher terrain. You kind of see the thunderstorm activity east as well. Now, total snow in inches, National Blend of Models. Let's scroll through here, and you'll see what I mean. Is that low pressure center is going to be kind of down a little bit further south, kind of targeting portions of Oregon. So again, Oregon is probably going to be the winners as far as the snowfall is concerned as we go on into the early portion of next week. But hopefully we can wring out some decent amounts across the Cascades, British Columbia, and the Rocky Mountains, and maybe give the Olympic Mountains a nice coating of snowfall also. 6 to 10 day goes through April 11th. Look at that below average signal across a lot of the west and kind of bullseye on the southwest here. 6 to 10 day precipitations below average starting to show up here as we go through April 11th. 8 to 14 day, look at this above average temperature starting to show up across some of the west. So we'll break that down and kind of see where that's trending here. We're not going to get in too much detail on that yet, just giving you a little bit of a hint what might be coming as we go towards mid-April. And the 8 to 14 day precipitation as well below average. But yeah, anyway, get your cameras out if you can. Watch those lenticular clouds going off across the mountains today. This can make for a very nice scenery there. And if we time things just right, maybe these high clouds won't move in too quick and we'll get a nice sunset show. Or maybe it'll be kicking off some lenticulars off Mount Hood down the Oregon Cascades as well. And it'll be a very nice sunset show. But yeah, you can see the very chilly air mass headed our way for the big temperature drop as we go through tomorrow. So anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.